I remember the exact moment I knew I should leave, and I didn't. Nothing dramatic happened, no big fight, no final argument, just a feeling that something wasn't right anymore. And instead of walking away, I stayed. And that decision, it cost me more than I was ready to admit. Because realizing something is wrong doesn't mean you're ready to walk away. With me, it was slower than that. Quieter. Almost like I woke up, but kept pretending I was still asleep. I started noticing things I couldn't unsee anymore. The way they would change their tone, depending on what they wanted. The way silence suddenly felt like punishment, not peace. The way I felt anxious, even when nothing was happening, and that feeling, it didn't go away. It stayed. It followed me. Even in moments that were supposed to feel normal. I remember sitting there once, everything was calm. No fight, no tension, and still, my chest felt tight, like something was wrong, even when nothing was happening. And that's when it hit me. It wasn't the moment, it was the pattern. And once I saw the pattern, I started noticing something else. It wasn't just what they were doing, it was what I was becoming. I was quieter, more careful, less like myself. I would stop mid-sentence just to rethink how something might be received. I would replay conversations in my head before they even happened, trying to predict reactions, trying to avoid that shift, that distance, that feeling of being shut out. And the more I did that, the more I disappeared inside the relationship. Not all at once, but slowly, in ways that didn't feel obvious at the time. Until one day, I realized I wasn't reacting naturally anymore. Everything was filtered, controlled, measured, and that's not love, that's survival. But even then, I didn't leave. I told myself I needed more clarity, more certainty, more proof. Because a part of me still hoped I was wrong, that maybe if I just understood it better, it would fix itself. So I stayed longer, and that's when things got harder. Because once you start seeing the truth, you also start seeing how deep you're in. I started catching things in real time. Small manipulations, subtle shifts, moments where something was said but meant something completely different. And for the first time, I didn't just feel it, I understood it. And that should have been enough, but it wasn't. Because understanding something doesn't break the attachment. If anything, it made the attachment stronger. Because now, I wasn't just feeling it, I was trying to fix it. I thought, if I understand this, I can change it. If I approach it differently, maybe it works. So I tried everything, being calmer, being more patient, more understanding, giving more space, asking in different ways, saying things softer, holding things in longer, and none of it changed anything. Because the problem was never how I was reacting. It was what I was reacting to, and that took me a long time to accept. It just makes it more painful. I started pulling back, but not fully. I would create a distance, then go right back. I would tell myself, this is the last time, and then find a reason to stay again. Not because I didn't see it, but because I couldn't let go of what I thought it was, that version of them. From the beginning, it was still in my head, still something I was chasing, even though deep down, I knew it wasn't real anymore, if it ever was. There were moments I almost left, moments where I felt strong enough, clear enough, done enough, but something always pulled me back. Not them, not directly. It was the idea, the hope, the what if. What if it goes back to how it was? What if they change? What if I'm giving up too soon? And those thoughts, They kept me there longer than anything else. There was also guilt, a lot of it. Guilt for even thinking about leaving. Guilt for questioning things. Guilt for not being strong enough to fix it. I kept thinking, what if they're struggling and I leave? What if I'm the one given up? What if I regret this? And those thoughts, they kept me stuck. Because leaving didn't feel like freedom. It felt like failure. Like I didn't try hard enough. Like I didn't love enough. And that belief kept me there longer than anything else ever could. Because they sound reasonable. They sound logical. But they're not. They're just fear disguised as patience. I started noticing how tired I felt. Not physically, but emotionally. Like I was constantly thinking, constantly analyzing, constantly trying to stay one step ahead. Trying to avoid that feeling, that drop in my stomach every time something felt off. And the worst part is, I got used to it. That anxiety became normal. I even started justifying things I would have never accepted before. Things that if someone else told me, I would have said, you need to leave. But when it was me, it was different. Because I knew them. Because I saw the good side. Because I believed that version would come back. And that belief, it's powerful. It keeps you invested. It keeps you hoping. Even when everything in front of you is telling you something else. That confusion became expected and peace started to feel unfamiliar. That's when I realized something else. I wasn't staying because I loved them. I was staying because I didn't know who I was. Without this, without the thinking, without the trying, without the constant emotional tension, it had become part of me. And leaving felt like losing something, even if that something was hurting me. There was a moment, a very quiet one. And the strangest part is that nothing looked bad enough from the outside. There was no clear moment you could point to. No single event that explained everything. Just a series of small things. Small shifts, small feelings that slowly built into something heavy. Something constant. Something you couldn't ignore anymore, but also couldn't fully explain. And that kind of situation is the hardest to leave. Because you're always waiting for something clearer. Something bigger. Something that justifies your decision. But it never comes. And you just stay waiting where everything shifted again. Not dramatically, not loudly, just a thought, simple, clear, and impossible to ignore. If I stay, this is my life. Not just today, not just this phase, but this pattern, repeating over and over again and for the first time. That scared me more than leaving. But even then, I didn't leave immediately. I wish I did, but I didn't. Because breaking something like that isn't just a decision. It's a process, a painful one. You don't just walk away. You slowly detach. You start seeing things without emotion. You start choosing yourself in small moments. You start saying less, reacting less, giving less. And that's what I did, little by little, quietly, without announcing it, without making it obvious. Because I knew if I tried to leave all at once, I would go back. So I changed my behavior first. I stopped explaining myself, stopped trying to fix things, stopped trying to be understood. And that changed everything. Because the moment you stop playing the role, the dynamic breaks. And when it breaks, you see it even clearer. The reactions, the shifts, the attempts to pull you back in. And this time, I saw all of it without confusion, without doubt, just clarity. And clarity is uncomfortable at first because once you see things clearly, you also start seeing yourself clearly. And that part was harder than anything else. I had to face the fact that I stayed, even when I had enough reasons not to, that I kept choosing something that was slowly breaking me. Not all at once, but in small moments, in things I ignored, things I justified, things I pretended not to feel. And it's uncomfortable to admit that, because it forces you to take responsibility, not for what they did, but for what you allowed to continue. And that realization, it changes you. It shifts something inside you. Because from that point on, you can't go back to not knowing. You can't pretend it's just confusion anymore. You know exactly what it is. And once you know, staying doesn't feel the same. It feels heavier, more intentional, more real. And that's when everything starts to change. Because it removes all excuses, all hope, all illusions. But it also gives you something else, a way out. I didn't leave in one big moment. There was no dramatic ending, no final fight, no closure. I just stopped engaging, stopped trying, stopped believing. And eventually, I left. Not because I was strong all of a sudden, but because I finally saw what staying really meant. And I couldn't unsee it anymore. The hardest part wasn't leaving, it was accepting that I stayed as long as I did. That I saw things and still chose to ignore them. That I felt it and stayed anyway. But maybe that's the part that matters most, because now I see it differently. Now I trust that feeling, that quiet discomfort, that thing you can't explain. But you feel anyway. I don't ignore it anymore because I know where that leads. And if you've ever felt that small voice telling you something isn't right, listen to it, because it sees things before you're ready to admit them. And ignoring it comes with a cost. One I know all too well.